Welcome, book lovers, to another episode of Storytime, brought to you by Timothy Bateson. Each episode features the work of an awesome author from the fantasy, urban fantasy, or science fiction genre. This time, I'm excited to bring you After Dark by urban fantasy author, me. So, without further ado, it's time to pull up a chair and plug in your headphones, because Storytime begins in 3, 2, 1. It was overcast the night my friends and I walked to the cemetery on the edge of town. Everyone told me that it was going to rain tonight, but I couldn't smell it in the wind. I'd lived in the city for most of my youth, so I figured I knew most of the streets, but the outskirts of the city were a mystery at times, and that's why I'd agreed to bring Jenks along. He really wasn't part of my circle of friends, even though I tried to give him the impression it was a future possibility. But then again, we'd only known him a couple of hours, and only time would tell if he'd be joining our group. Jenks had grown up on this side of town and had talked about how special the graveyard was on Halloween night. He'd regaled us with stories of nights spent wandering between gravestones reading the inscriptions. Though I didn't really believe him, several of my friends had, and Jenks was labelled a weirdo. I had my reasons not to believe him, but I kept them to myself. After all, Jenks was the weirdo, not me. Somehow, despite everything, I was the popular one. I was lost in thought as we approached the cemetery, and I missed what everyone was discussing, until Rollo asked how we were going to get in. He had a good point. It was after dark. The gates were most likely locked, but I was interested in hearing the answer myself, so I turned to Jenks and asked him what his plan was to get us all over the wall. "Oh, there's a loose section that I climb over, and it should hold even Rollo's weight." Yeah, there was the other reason why Jenks wasn't ever going to be part of our circle. He'd spent most of the night picking on Rollo, and I didn't like it. Rollo was one of the kindest people I knew, and didn't deserve the kind of things that Jenks gave him for his weight problem. The kid liked to eat, sure, but then, when it came to meal times, he usually brought something that the rest of us could share. I had Jenks show us where to climb, and we scrambled over one after the other. I landed on the other side of the wall amid giggling and glances back towards the street. Smiling, I called everyone to order and waited for the merriment to quiet. This wasn't a normal night, and the reduced level of light made everything seem eerie, especially with the low-lying fog. But I knew that there were no reasons for any of us to be nervous. The only people here, other than us, were long dead, and I was okay with that. The dead were nothing to be afraid of, and I made a point of reminding everyone of that fact. As nerves seemed to settle, Jenks suggested that we should head deeper into the cemetery, so he could show us his favourite headstone. I nodded and gave him the illusion of being in charge, if even for a few minutes. There was no harm in it, especially after his dig at Rollo. In fact, if anything, that cemented my resolve to let him lead us deeper, if he dared. I still had my doubts about his claims, and the further we got from the wall, the more nervous he seemed to be getting. 5 minutes later, we were standing over a grave that looked freshly dug, even though the inscription indicated that it was much older. In fact, according to the headstone, this is where an 18-year-old boy had been buried over 60 years ago. I looked around my circle of friends, and decided to end the charade and kick off the main event of the night. I let my incisors extend, and watched the others do the same. As one, we all turned on Jenks, and I grinned broadly, showing off my fangs. Holding up both hands, I started the countdown. 10. 9. I got all the way to 7 before Jenks finally got the hint and ran. He was fast, but fear seemed to have sapped any agility he might have had. It would be a good hunt if he didn't fall into any of our graves, or faint like last year's prey. If Jenks made it to the wall, he was safe, and the rules said we had to offer him the chance to join us. If he refused, he'd die anyway. But after his dig at Rollo, I just wasn't going to give him a chance to be one of us. Jenks did love graves, so maybe we'd hide his remains in one when we were done feasting. "Dinner's on me tonight, boys, and no playing with your food. You have to be back in your graves before morning." Of course, they didn't need the reminder. We'd played this game for 6 decades. Let the hunt begin. Every story featured on Storytime appears with the author's permission. If you have enjoyed this sample of After Dark by me, be sure to check out the show notes for details of how to find more of my work. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and never miss an episode of Storytime.